Welcome to I Wish Someone Would Have Told Me, a podcast and video series about women's health and wellness, barrier breaking, and self advocacy, all united by the through line of what we wish someone would have told us when we were younger. I am your host, Liana Losada, and in this episode, I sit down with Starr Hawkins, aka Babymommafit, about her second pregnancy, getting sober, facing racial bias while building her Pilates brand and business, going viral, and dealing with misogyny, stereotypes, and nasty comments. Starr is a celebrity trainer, Pilates instructor, and mother who built a thriving fitness career while overcoming incredible odds. Growing up in a multiracial broken home, Starr faced challenges early on, including navigating life with a mother battling substance abuse. This experience later mirrored her own journey with addiction. Today, Starr is proudly sober and uses her platforms to inspire others through accessible fitness programs. Her work as a fitness professional, particularly in pre- and postnatal training, has made her a trusted name in the industry, empowering women to feel strong and confident in their bodies, be themselves, and have fun while doing it. Beyond fitness, Starr shares her story to shed light on the power of breaking generational cycles and building a life rooted in purpose, authenticity, and passion. Before I jump into Starr's episode, this is just a clear call out content warning that we will be discussing racism, sobriety, and addiction. You can get a behind the scenes look at the making of this episode and other I Wish Someone Would Have Told Me podcast episodes at I Wish Someone Told Me Pod on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. You can also support the podcast by subscribing, rating, sharing, and or downloading the podcast and its episodes. All right, without further ado, this is Starr Hawkins. All right, let's jump into you.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's start from the beginning. So you are from Asheville.
Yes. Well, I grew up, I was
Yeah.
born in Arlington, Virginia, but then when I was 2, my parents got divorced and my mom was like looking on a map and she saw Land of the Sky.
Oh,
and
really?
I was already born, I was 2. So when she ended up having my sister 2 years later,
Yeah.
she named her Sky, but she knew she wanted to be in Asheville because it was like mountains and
She wanted there to be like a celestial kind of
yeah,
like
she's like
vibe.
a hippie. It was very like hippie.
Yeah.
Well, now it's more hippie. Back then, I guess it was a little bit more country, but
Yeah.
she was like searching for something and
Yeah.
ended up in Asheville.
And do you have a lot of memories of that time? Like, do you have a sense of what your childhood was like there?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up biracial in the South, which
Yeah.
like, I mean, now I feel like we're very fortunate to be in Miami.
Mhm.
There's so many different cultures. I think when I grew up, there was like there was probably 2 mixed kids.
Yeah.
And then, just like a black kid and maybe Mexicans,
Yeah.
like, but nobody knew, like, I didn't know other cultures.
Yeah.
There wasn't Asians, Indians, so it was very
Yeah.
like kind of racist and it was just different. It wasn't, I
Yeah.
have good memories. I also have a lot of bad memories. I have a lot of trauma there that I've slowly
Right.
worked out,
What were some of the good like things that you look back and you're like nostalgic about?
I think just like playing outside. I think about that all the time, like, because my daughter is, 14 and they have
Yes.
phones.
Yes.
And just like riding bike and like playing outside until it
Yeah.
got dark.
Yeah.
Catching like, what is it? Those lightning bugs. I don't even know
Yeah.
if lightning bugs exist
They
anymore.
do. It's funny because they don't exist here.
Yeah.
But like when I was in Austin, I saw them for the first time when I
Yeah,
was there.
they're
And
so
I was
cool.
bugging out because I was like, I haven't seen these since I was a kid. And I went to go visit a friend in Massachusetts. And I'm like, oh my God, they still exist. Like,
Yeah.
so I got very nostalgic about that
like,
whole thing.
just being outside, building forts, like being
Yeah.
a kid. I think that was like,
And you don't see the outside thing as much anymore.
no. I think people are scared to let their kids be outside, at
And
least
I
by
think
themselves.
that's fair. I think that's actually fair because I was actually talking to my brother about this recently on how we used to play manhunt, like a big group of like Latin and Black kids, and we would hide in people's yards. Like we can't get away with that now.
Yeah.
Like we can't do that.
No, not in Florida. You might get shot.
Exactly.
They'll think that like you're a criminal and you never know. Yeah.
And so I think that's something that I wish I could see more, but I don't know if it's possible anymore.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, I know there's a lot of research on like, kids are safer now because they have phones, and then but they're more sheltered.
Right.
So, I mean, my daughter is actually very independent. A lot of people might think I'm crazy, but she goes to school on the beach. She takes 2 buses to get home.
Oh,
One from
really?
Midtown and then one to Little Haiti.
Wow.
So she rides a bus by herself. She's very
Yeah.
sufficient. She started
Yeah.
a job. She works, and she's 14. So
Oh, where's she working?
Barry's boot camp.
Oh, no, so
She's
that's
making
very
shakes.
full circle
Full
for
circle because I
you.
worked there as well.
Oh,
So
that's wild.
my daughter's very much outside. But I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
sometimes I get a little nervous too. You never know. Even with Ubers, I'm like, sometimes I Uber her home in an emergency, and I'm like, you just never know.
Well, the good thing is you can kind of see like
Yeah.
where she's at and track where she's at.
Yeah, but you just never know.
Is there a lot of her that you see with like when you were a kid? Like, are there any parallels?
More now that she's getting older, I see she started playing basketball and she's really like come out of her shell.
Nice.
So when she tells me like the drama and the tea, I see her like, personality come out more.
Yeah.
And but she's like a better version of me, for sure. A much calmer one too. She's like so much more calm.
She has a chill kind of
She's good at
vibe.
school, and I was always good at school. So I think she
Yeah.
got like my smarts, like I
Yeah.
can tell she doesn't really need to study, like
She just absorbs.
yeah, she gets it.
Yeah.
Like that ended up being a problem for me later on in life, like with college and stuff, because you actually have to put forth effort.
Yeah.
You can't just skate by.
Right. And like smile at the professor. Like, oh, I'll turn it in later.
Yeah,
Like, no, that's not how
you
this
gotta
works.
actually do the work. So
Yeah.
she seems to be a little bit like, she's much smarter and much calmer. And yeah.
Did you have hobbies and stuff as a kid? Did you play sports?
I played a little bit of sports. My mom struggled with substances my whole upbringing. So
Yeah.
I would sign up for stuff, but it was really hard for me to get there. So I did like track, I did basketball, I did cheerleading, but nothing long enough to like actually get good enough. I'm kind of good at a lot of things.
Yeah. Were you able to focus on that considering that there were things going on at home, or was it like an escape, or was it kind of just like for fun?
Yeah, I'd probably say an escape for fun. I mean, I am an athletic person. That's why I love fitness.
Yeah.
So I'm sure I was drawn to it. But yeah, it was, my household was too unstable to maintain any sort of schedule, which as an adult, and I work on my traumas all the time, because, we see a TikTok about it every day, or, you just hear everybody's working on themselves. I've, now that I have to drive my daughter everywhere, I completely understand. It kind of sucks. So I give my mom some grace now. I'm like, you know what? I don't want to drive around either. I'm tired.
Yeah.
You work all day. That's the last thing you want to do. You want to watch
put you in an Uber.
Yeah.
But and you've been really open about some of the things that you saw when you were younger that you probably shouldn't have seen.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
What are some of those experiences for those who may not know your story?
I mean, my mom was just always it was always around a guy. She had horrible relationships. One of her I think it was her second husband. He ended up having like schizophrenia.
Oh, really?
And
like undiagnosed?
No, it was diagnosed.
Oh.
But one thing about schizophrenics, I mean, we see it with Kanye. They don't like to take their medicine.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
I remember one time he like let all our animals out, and I had like hamsters, and he like released them into the. And I came home to like, cops and my hamsters were let out. It was just like always chaos,
Right.
So I would see that. I would see her, she struggled with like suicidal tendencies. I would see her wanting to like slice her wrists up. When my dog died, I remember she was like. It was like a lot of alcohol fueled chaos. I saw her do lots of drugs.
Yeah.
I would see her drinking and driving all the time. I didn't know if something was going to happen to me. I spent a lot of time at people's houses. I think that's what made me such a social person today. I'm such a chameleon because I always had to like be the likable person so that I could stay at someone else's house. Like
it was
my friends' moms,
thing.
My friends' moms loved me because I was just so nice, Like I would do the chores and eat their food, and I think a lot of people knew my mom because it's a small town,
Would people talk about it?
I don't know if I remember in high school, this kid one time told me he sold drugs to my mom, and that pissed me off. I think I fought him or something. But, my mom worked her entire life, even though she came from money. My grandpa was a 2-star general in the Army.
Oh, wow.
He wrote like Colin Powell speeches. I actually went to his funeral a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Did not know him because he didn't like the fact that my mom only dated black guys. So we didn't really know him, but I went to his funeral, highly decorated, and she came up for money, but she, blew through most of her trust fund on drugs and alcohol, and she worked at McDonald's like my entire upbringing, which that always was a huge insecurity for me. I hated that. I just felt like at that time in my as a kid, you just feel like your parents like has the worst job. Right? Like you want your parent to be a doctor. Or like some people's parents were like school teachers. And I just felt like that was like the worst job. So now she works at Burger King. She still works at Burger King. She's worked McDonald's or Burger King. She only does fast food. And she loves it. And it's funny, like certain things happen in my life where things come full circle again. Like Travis Scott did like a McDonald's pop-up, like a collaboration. And I had to go buy the fucking merch. And it's like, my mom's been getting McDonald's merch my whole life and I hated McDonald's, but I'm like running to get some Travis Scott merch,
Did you kind of like shun, like after you left and you're like, oh, McDonald's, would you be like, oh, I don't want to go there? Or was it just a familiar thing? Like what was that for you?
Yeah, I didn't care. I just didn't want people to know my mom worked there. I probably liked McDonald's. As a kid, I feel like we grew up on it.
We did. Happy Meals. And you get the toys and you're just like, what toy did I get?
It was just like such a shame. I don't know. I carried shame with me. I think that's what fueled a lot of my, bad decisions. I had a ton of like not being comfortable with who I was. Whether it was from being, discriminated against growing up in a predominantly white, redneck ass, area. Or, my mom just being like the town kind of like hot mess.
The pariah,
Yeah. So it's funny, she needs her own TikTok because she's like me, but like on 1,000. And imagine like I've done a lot of drugs, so I'm a little bit of a burnout. And there was a forum on Facebook. And it's like Asheville Foods. I'll have to send it to you.
Yeah,
it's like
please.
Best places to eat in Nashville.
Yeah.
And somebody's like, yeah, but do you guys know the Burger King drive-thru lady?
That's your mom?
Or McDonald's drive-thru. Now she's at McDonald's. She was at Burger King when I grew up, and now she's at McDonald's. So I think I flipped it. And there's a whole hundreds of comments about how cool my mom is and how she brightens people's days up and how she like raps. And then like
what? So she's like one of those people that you would see on a video.
Yeah,
on,
she's
like,
just
TikTok.
crazy. Yeah, she's crazy. She should have her own TikTok. She'd probably go viral every day. She's her own show. She's a one-woman show. And she ended up, because of all the social media coverage on her boss like offered to buy her a flight to come see me give her a vacation. But she don't make no money. I think she was making the least out of everybody there. Kids were making more than her. She didn't know.
That's wild.
And yeah, she just been doing that her whole.
But she loves it.
She loves it. She loves it. She's so happy.
There's something
and I don't care now. I'm over it. I'm like, yeah, girl, I'm proud of you. Like, live your life. Go off, sis. She's sober now. She's been sober for 8 years.
Right.
And she's,
Did you guys, and we'll jump into that, did you guys get sober around the same time?
Yeah, pretty much. I think she actually stuck it out a little bit longer than I did because I've had relapses here and there in between. And she's actually been fully sober for probably going on like 9 or 10 years now.
Yeah. And did your dad live somewhere else?
My dad stayed in D.C.
Oh, got you.
So my dad didn't come around until high school. High school, I went and lived in D.C. And then from D.C., I went back to college in Charlotte, flunked out of college. Did horribly. Terribly. I don't even know. I don't even think I graduated one class. And then went back to DC. And then that's when the store I always worked for in DC had opened up stores in Miami. It was called Up Against the Wall. So they had a store in Dadeland and they had a store in Sunset Place. Yeah. And I came down and managed those stores.
So you decided to move down here.
Yeah. Gianna's dad, my daughter's father, was living here at the time. Yeah. And we had met at the university. I went to UNC Charlotte and then I transferred to Art Institute. That was a whole Art Institute moment. Aging myself with that.
Yeah, well,
everybody was part of the Art Institute.
It got shut down.
Yeah. I think my loans went away from that finally.
Did they really?
Yeah, I think that's the one thing that the president did.
You escaped it.
I think he got rid of those loans.
And then you said, like, when did the questionable decisions start to happen? Like, around what age?
Definitely college. I mean, it started sooner, obviously, like with partying and stuff in high school and drinking and but like that's kind of normal stuff. Yeah. For high school. Well, maybe not because I hope my daughter's not doing that now, but definitely college is when I peaked at like my downfall hot mess.
Right.
But not cute, not Alex Earl hot mess. It was like fucking
Sloppy.
intervention hot mess.
Did that ever happen? Did anybody ever have one of those with you?
No, I mean, my parents were just like, we're not paying for your shit anymore. Like,
Right.
get your ass up here. And,
Yeah.
and you know, I mean, I've had enough like bottoms in my own life to just kind of slowly get myself there. And
Yeah.
then now I don't even know if it's the bottoms or just age, you know, like eventually you just get sick of doing it too.
You get tired.
You know, get real tired. I don't even have it in me right now. I don't have it in me to even stay past one, you know, let alone wake up hungover. I see some of my friends that do it and I'm like, I don't know how y'all still doing this.
Yeah.
Waking up, losing their phones, wrecking their cars. I'm like, I don't know how you're still doing this.
I think it's like, I think for some people they need like a hard wake up call.
Yeah.
Or some people it's just like, they just get tired, or you have to like really be like, is this it? Like, is this all there? You know what I mean? Like all there
I just think
is.
it's like a routine. It's like how I brush my teeth and work out every day. Some people just need to drink every day or need to, you know, do chaotic behavior because it's part of their routine. But I do think that the way that things are going, it's nice that there's so much more resource and so much different ways to now get sober, and sober's cool, and matcha dry January's coming, and I mean people are hitting me up for programming, and
really
I had a call today with Mave, and like, you know, they're literally in every single like Grutman restaurant. So like, you know, like it's there. Like people are giving you options. They're not investing money in it. The liquor companies that own these companies are definitely not pushing for it.
Right.
But the resource is out there. And, you know, there's so much more like
available. There's more nurturing support for that type of decision making.
Yes, 100%.
And around the time, like, around what time were you trying to get sober? Like,
I started when I started my fitness journey. So I was, what am I, I'm 36 now, so 28. So yeah, about like, well, how many years is that? 4? I need to do math.
I'm not good at math.
10, at least 10 years ago. 10 years ago. I think the math is still wrong. 2, 6, 8 years ago. About 8 or 10 years ago.
And was it immediately Pilates for you, or were you trying to do other things?
I was definitely trying to do other things.
Yeah.
I had gotten sober because a boyfriend at the time was like, yo, you got a problem, and if you don't get sober, I'm going to break up with you. So I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to get sober. I'm going to go to AA.
Right.
So then I went to AA, and I started working at Barry's. I actually met my boss at the Standard when I was not sober. But yeah, I worked the desk, and I really wanted, my main thing was Barry's. I wanted to do Barry's.
Yeah.
But I had no idea anything about fitness.
Yeah.
So it didn't really make sense.
Right.
Everyone thought I should do it because of my personality.
Right.
But when you actually, it's like, you know, speaking Spanish, like, everyone thinks you speak Spanish because you look Spanish, but you don't know how to speak Spanish until you know how to speak Spanish.
Like, okay.
So it was really like hard and confusing for me at first. But
was there a big learning curve? Like, what would you say was the thing that you were like, oh, I didn't even think this was a thing with fitness outside of like the science? Was it coaching people? Was it pacing? Like, what was the thing that you're like,
it was everything. I just didn't get it, you know? Like, I think that's when it all clicked, was when I was able to infuse my personality into the actual science and bones and all of it. But in the beginning, I didn't understand how I fit into it, you know?
Right.
And now I know how I fit into it. Like, I know how to motivate people. I know how to like get the most from someone in a positive way, you know, or maybe in a little bit of a negative way. Maybe I do cuss people out sometimes. With this pregnancy, you're more likely to get the hormonal version of me. But I didn't know where I fit into it, you know, because anybody can kind of teach fitness.
Right.
But like the good people teach it, and it looks like you're not teaching. It looks like effortless. It's like smooth, you know. The transitions are smooth. The music it hits every time.
Your music
hits.
Yeah.
There's it actually goes. You got to put work into it.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. I feel like the music is such an important factor in the whole experience of the whole thing.
And even that can be like a thing sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, like certain gyms might say, I don't like rap music, or I don't like this music, or.
Have you had that happen?
Of course, yeah.
Ooh.
Had people tell me crazy things. Now nobody would ever say anything now.
Right, because you have a proof of concept.
Well, that, you know, have followers.
Yeah.
And then like, you know, you just can't get away with saying certain things. You can't say you're not the body type. You know,
Did you get a lot of that too?
Yeah, of course. From being like thicker and having
Mm-hmm.
tattoos. And
Yeah.
I used to have a shaved head.
Did you do the shaved on the side thing?
Side, and
Oh,
then
I did
had
that too, and I had short hair.
I had tattooed on that too. I had Baby Mama on it. So I was very like out there, you know?
When did the name Babymommafit like come to life?
So when Instagram started, MySpace, I was still Starr Hawkins, but when Babymommafit, it was Baby Mama Starr, because I was like the first one out of my friends to have a kid.
Yeah.
So everyone would call me Baby Mama, whatever, and as like a joke or a nickname. And then I turned it into Babymommafit when I got fit, and then I ended up starting to train tons of moms. Like during COVID, I had like 6 or 7 pregnant girls.
Yeah.
And then like halfway through, or you know, a year after COVID or whatever, they all got pregnant again. So then I got them all again.
Yeah.
So it really like turned into like a baby mama brand where I was just training, you know, lots of moms. And now I'm pregnant. So I'm really leaning into it.
How many years between pregnancies? So
14. So my daughter's 14 years old.
How is she taking the whole sibling
she's
thing?
so gassed.
Yeah.
She's so gassed, and she's like so excited. She's been asking to be a big sister for forever. So now I'm in my 2nd trimester, and I'm starting to like feel all the rage of the hormones. And I actually had a great 1st trimester. 2nd trimester has been a little bit rocky, and I had to like check myself the other day and be like, listen, I'm sorry. And her response to me was, it's okay. I was being inconsiderate. You've had a rough week. So she's like,
she's aware.
She's like such a good kid. Like she's ready. She's definitely going to be my helper.
Yeah.
I'm like, please go to FIU and stay home because I'm going to need your help.
Yeah. Aww. And do you like, just knowing what you went through as a teenager, do you ever kind of like get nervous now that you have a teenager? Like what things do you have to remind yourself?
Yeah, I think about that too, because I mean, even just talking to you now, I'm like, what was I doing in high school? And I was doing crazy shit. I mean, this was the year 14 was when I was like, you know, I had a boyfriend and definitely smoking weed.
Yeah.
I think I did like some mushrooms, you know.
Yeah.
We're definitely experimenting. I don't think she's doing that, but I mean, it's Miami.
That's a whole, like Miami's a whole nother element. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like she's on the beach and, I don't know, but you know what? Like those are the things that make you who you are. You got to experience them. It sucks that we live in a time where, you know, your weed could get laced with like fentanyl, you know? I mean, that's like, I would hate for her to just be experimenting like a normal teenager and something horrible happens. So, I mean, that's a fear, obviously, but I try to educate her. We have an open line communication.
Yeah.
I'm not the cool mom. Like I would never be like, yo, drink here or don't drink there. I'm not gonna be like that. I just never I don't think that's my vibe.
Yeah.
I hated my mom was kind of almost like that.
She was the one who was like, oh, just drink in the house.
Yeah, or smoke weed, you know, like it was kind of open, and I always hated that. I thought it was so gross.
Have you guys had conversations about your soberism and like that alcoholism?
Yeah, I mean, she's
in the
been
family?
to AA meetings with me, so she knows.
Yeah.
For sure.
Have you ever gone to a meeting with your mom?
No, because she didn't get sober through AA.
Oh, okay.
She found the Lord.
Oh.
The Lord works in mysterious ways.
As long as it works.
If you know about the North Carolina Lord.
Yes.
The Pentecostal Lord, the one that has them speaking in tongues.
Yes.
He will wash away your sins.
Yeah. So she found her own way.
Yeah, she
That's
found her
great.
own way.
Your mom sounds like she's like a seeker.
Yeah.
She's always seeking and kind of. Do you feel like you're the same way?
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't really need to seek.
It'll just arrive.
I know like friends who are like that. They need to do ayahuasca and then they go on retreats and I feel like the answers are usually pretty in front of me, you know?
Yeah.
Like I think self-aware, you know.
You
I
just
know like if I'm crabby, it's for a reason.
Right.
I know that if I'm happy, it's usually for a reason.
Right.
I know if I'm sad, it's for a reason.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of stuff's temporary.
That's
for the
true.
most part.
Most things are.
But I do have like a, you know, a higher power, and I think I am somewhat a little bit spiritual, but I'm not like seeking to find myself. I'm pretty comfortable.
And I'm sure through your journey, you've done a lot of self-reflection and a lot of like understanding.
I definitely think I probably need to talk to my therapist more.
Yeah.
Or like more therapy, but I'm not like searching for.
How long have you had a therapist?
On and off. At least like on and off for forever, actually.
Yeah.
I've always kind of had one, even as a kid. I remember having to
really?
talk to one because I would get in trouble at school and stuff. They knew probably what was going on, like, in my house, you know, so.
Yeah.
I've always, like, had to talk to people about
Yeah.
what's going on with me.
And you advocate for that, like therapy for?
I think so, yeah, therapy's
Yeah.
great,
Yeah.
100%, yeah. I
It's
think
nice.
it's cool that, like, you know, you could even just, like, watch YouTube videos and, like,
Yeah,
probably
that's true.
therapy yourself if you wanted to.
You can, but that can also get dangerous.
Right. But there's so much resource, you know?
There's so much more
I wish it was more
resource.
accessible. I just, you know,
Right.
that's the stuff that pisses me off. It's like
Right.
expensive, you know? Even my
Right.
friends who go to therapists, a lot of times you hear it, like they'll say, yeah, I wanted to go to this one person and I was loving her, but then my insurance stopped taking her. You know, so a lot of it's just not accessible.
Yeah,
you know?
that's true.
So that's, I mean, I just started doing acupuncture.
Oh, during the pregnancy?
Yeah, and I didn't know what the hell that was.
Yeah.
And that's like not accessible. People don't know about that.
Right. It
I mean,
definitely
like, I
wasn't
think
something you thought
rich
about
people
before.
know about it.
Right. But
The rest of us don't know about it.
Right, like, oh, I'm gonna go get acupuncture.
Yeah, like, no, you're like, no, I'm gonna take a Tylenol. Or
Yeah.
I'm gonna, like, just deal with the pain.
Yeah. I think
So.
there's something to be said about, like, I think a lot of times in, like, the fitness and health and wellness community, we forget that we're having very privileged conversations. And we're, like, talking about things that are so, like, you're like, yo, when it comes down to it, like, can people afford to do these things? And one of the things that I love that you've done is you've kept your, like, Zoom classes, like, it's $30 a month.
Yeah,
Right,
keep
that
it
is
all
the price,
cheap.
right?
Yeah, $30 a day.
Yeah, $1
I
a
mean,
day.
it's even bitten me in the butt because it's
Right.
like, you know, I attract a customer that is, you know, it's everybody. Or it's
Right.
like, you know, it is for everyone.
Yeah.
Maybe not super high end, but, you know,
Right.
like the working class or
Right.
people who, you know, are single moms, whatever it is. I want to be accessible to everyone.
Yeah.
And, you know, like wanting to do it like retreats or to do things that are more expensive. I don't necessarily maybe have that clientele. So that's, I mean, it's fine. It's fine. Like when, you know, at the end of the day, if I'm helping people, I don't really give a shit.
Yeah.
I wish I had more
Yeah.
subscribers and more people because I know they're out there. I mean,
Yeah.
how big is the rich percentage? It can't be that big.
No, it's not.
The 1%. You know, how big is this 1%?
Yeah.
But yeah, I wish I had more of the, like, you know, working class on my thing, but I've always kept it like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's the whole thing. Like, I mean, we see it now because of social media, but even Pilates was not accessible back in the day. You know, like the classes, you had to have the megaformer, you have to have the bed.
Right.
Now we're doing it on the ground and you can do it at the track.
Yeah.
You can hop on a class for $30.
Right.
You can do all those same movements on the floor. So it's a lot cheaper. But before, you know, like only rich people had those big Cadillacs in their houses, or, you know, even yoga, I feel like was almost kind of like a secret club, you know?
Yeah.
And now you're seeing it brought into like more like, you know, black and brown neighborhoods.
Absolutely.
I was playing, I haven't in a long time, so I'm not going to say I'm a part of the group because I need to actually get my ass there. But I was playing with like the Slice Girls, and it was black and brown girls for tennis.
Yes.
You know, because even tennis is like stuffy. You go there and you can't play music and expensive, and you need to have a coach, or you need to have a permit or a membership. Like, you know, there's certain things that aren't as accessible to certain cultures.
Yeah.
And I felt like acupuncture is one of those things. I was like, bro, nobody telling me about this.
Yeah.
And why is it so expensive? And why is my insurance not covering this?
It's true. Did you go to like someone recommended by a doctor, or you had to find somewhere on your own?
I went to, there's a place in Miami called One Tribe, and it's like specifically for pregnancy.
I did an article about them.
Yeah, they're amazing.
Yeah.
They're amazing, but I mean, this shit ain't cheap. It's like $180 every single time I go.
How often do you have to go?
I'm going once a week. I've been going once a week for the last like month, and because I've been having like inner thigh and like pains, lower back pain, and I do kind of feel like there is a difference. I feel like it's helping.
Yeah.
And as long as I can keep working, I'm gonna keep paying, because what's the other alternative?
Yeah. And how much do you feel like social media and digital media has played a role in your trajectory?
I mean, social media for me has been huge.
Yeah.
And it definitely keeps the lights on, you know, like I still get good social media jobs. And I hope that once I have the baby, that can be like almost like all of my work for at least like a month or two, so I can take off from teaching. But I mean, social media is where I post my classes. It's how I get brand deals.
Yeah.
It's a big part of like my story, I guess, and my followers. Like people have seen me grow, and my growth has been, you know, somewhat organic. I did a lot of collaborations and a lot of photo shoots, and you know, I had to like niche myself as like the butt girl for a very long time. The booty fitness girl, and then, you know, now I'm in like a new era where I'm like the mom fitness girl. So constantly evolving. TikTok is a whole nother platform. I've actually loving TikTok, which I hope they won't ban it.
We'll see.
We'll see what happens with that. But yeah, I love social media. I think it's, I mean, I think it's huge.
How has the like content influencer space changed since you first started?
I think now everybody's an influencer. In the beginning, I felt like it was a little bit more of like an elite group, right? You had to have a certain amount of followers. And I think that so many people, you know, maybe, I don't know, maybe the market got a little bit more saturated, or people started buying followers, and then businesses started realizing that just because you have followers doesn't mean you actually have a following, right? So like, you know, you see like, it is important, the people that you attract. Even like with me starting as like the booty influencer, I was probably only attracting men, which is great if you're selling like, I don't know, beard cream, but if you're trying to sell a workout class,
Pilates classes,
you're probably, that probably isn't great. So, you know, targeting more women and being more relatable in that sense. I think that also people need to get something from you. So they need to either learn something, like, so if it's fitness, y'all want to learn how to like, you know, get rid of love handles or get 6-pack abs. Like you need to teach people something, or you need to be beautiful, or you need to be funny. Like you can't just be like, it used to be photos and now it's not, it's everything. You can't like post what you're wearing and not tag the items. You got to tag the items. You got to, you know, have an LTK so you can make money off the items you tagged, and
it's its own ecosystem now.
It's its own. It's a whole job. It's a whole job
on top of the jobs that you already have.
It's a whole job
on top of that.
But you can really make a killing, and I know girls who make, I mean, tons of money. Doing social media, and some of them don't even have that big a following. So
it's just understanding like where your strengths are and the right
business and
collaboration,
and definitely advocating for yourself to get the money that you deserve.
Do you ever just wake up and be like, I don't want to post today?
All the time. But then I do. I would be lying if I said I didn't like social media. You know, I'd be lying. I sit on it just as much as everyone else does.
How is that with a teenager?
I mean, my daughter has social media too. The kids are different. They use Snapchat, which is kind of scarier because that shit disappears. You don't know what they're sending. But she asked me if she can post like certain things. I don't think she has a problem as much with it. She does sit on TikTok a lot. I mean, like, you know, there were mornings that she would be late for school, and it's because she's watching TikToks. Or if she's doing her chores, she's watching YouTube shorts. You know, there's like all these like streamers now that people watch, and
you get sucked into it.
So but I don't see it like affecting her life in the sense negatively. I don't feel like she's like a complete like device kid, but you know, I don't know.
And then obviously you've always still been the person to receive a lot of negative comments. How does that affect you, especially now that you're pregnant?
Well, I got one TikTok that actually affected both of us because she was in it. And it was basically like this trend, like my favorite animal trend. And basically it was like when you kind of like popped off or like did something stupid or something crazy. It's like a crazy version of yourself, right? It doesn't have to be crazy. It could be like just a weird
like
version
your
of
alter ego.
Right. So I was like, my favorite animal is going to a concert and twerking to millennial music with my daughter. And like basically I was just embarrassing her. But it was like Apple Bottom Jeans was playing. It was at a Nelly concert. Like, and I was there with my stepmom, Karen, who is a Karen, but like in a nice way. She's not a bad Karen, but she's like
there are good Karens.
There are good Karens. She's a good Karen, but she's a white woman, you know? Like she's a nice looking white woman. And she's actually a judge, not married to my dad, but they've been together for a long time. And I was like, we were all there at the concert, and I was like twerking and acting a fool. And that shit went triple viral. It went viral on TikTok. It went viral on Instagram.
At the same time, or was there like a...
Oh, no, this was like 6 months ago. It's now gone viral on Twitter. I got 16 million reposts on Twitter.
What?
But the whole reason why it's been posted is because everyone's like, oh, her daughter's figuring out why she's a single mom.
Oh, shit.
Or, oh, you know, like, just talking shit about me being a bad parent because I am dancing at a concert with my daughter. Now, am I twerking? I'm not even twerking good, by the way. It was like...
It was a fun twerk.
It was like a fun, like aggressive, being annoying, right?
Right.
So... Of course, my daughter in the beginning is like, it's just annoying how they think they know me. Like, you know, like she's like reading the comments because she's tagged in it. So she's seeing it and she like, and you can get sucked into it. Like I've had that happen where you all day look at the comments and you almost want to write back. And then sometimes you do and then you don't. And it fucks up your whole vibe.
Right.
So I don't do that. But it's like people are arguing. Also, people are sticking up for me. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's honestly, it's like, those are the things that you know are going to go viral. They generate no money, by the way. Those posts generate no money.
Does that
They might
frustrate
get you like 2,000 followers.
Right.
But it's like, it's just for viral. It's like just to get your ass in the algorithm.
Right.
But it's like everyone has opinion. 16 million on Twitter.
That is insane.
So I posted my baby list that day, my baby registry.
You're like, hey, have you got
I got like I got 47 packages sent to my house that day.
Yeah.
And it's funny, a lot of people are just arguing like, oh, mama looks good, or, you know, or mom's not allowed to have a good time.
Right.
And then some people are just like, she's a hoe, she's a prostitute, you know?
It's just amazing what people will say without knowing you.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, and I feel like if I was a white girl too, it would have been like more like, oh, Karen can't dance, right?
It would have been funny.
It would have been, or it would have been Karen can't dance, right? They would have they would have roasted me.
Right.
But because I have tattoos, they assume that I'm a single mom, that I'm on food stamps, that I live a bad life, that I don't have a business, or because of my skin color, you know, could be.
The bias automatically kicks in.
The tattoos, the big butt, and the darker skin, it's like you get different, you get different hate.
Yeah.
But it did reach a very dark side of Twitter and TikTok. It's like the misogynistic, you know, but then you go to these profiles and it's like,
a bot, or like a guy.
Yeah, it's like it's a guy holding his cat.
Yeah.
Follows 3.
Yeah.
Or follows 300, has 3 followers. So like you don't even know if it's a real person. You know?
Did you guys talk about that a lot?
Yeah, I mean, now she doesn't care. She just like is like whatever.
Yeah.
But you know, I mean, I think it did bother her in the beginning, but I'm like, you know what? It's promo, Geech. Like, don't listen to them. We're good.
Yeah. She's doing just fine.
Right. Like, don't worry about her, you know, but that's fine. I did like a clapback post, and even that went on World Star. I'm like, World Star hates women too.
That's so disappointing.
Yeah,
it's
people
like,
love to see women down, you know?
It really is.
They really love to see it, or they love to see, you know, like, they love to put women down, you know? It's just, it's crazy. And it's women too. It's women on there too.
Oh, absolutely.
Talking shit too. Like, you don't know my life.
Right.
And so what? So what if I am a stripper?
Yeah. The keyboard warrior.
Right.
Entitlement of like, I could just say whatever I want to say, and if it's right, cool, and if it's wrong.
And meanwhile, my husband's the one videoing it. They're like, she ain't got no man, she got this, she got that. My husband's in the background like, go, 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 you know, like, hey, like he's gassing me up, you know?
Right.
But it's just, it's funny, so.
Yeah,
social media can be negative, but you just don't read the comments.
That's the key.
Don't read the comments.
Stay out of the comments.
Yeah.
I've actually thought about, because of the things that we're going to talk about for this, I'm like, should I turn off the comments to some things? Because people are sharing like really personal things, and I'm like, at some point, somebody's going to come and say something. You know what I mean? And I'm just like,
I mean,
is that the solution, or is it just like, hide it? You know, I thought about that a lot while I've been doing this whole process.
I mean, that's how I know within 5 minutes if something's going viral.
Just the comments.
If people are arguing in the comments at each other, like, I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about people that do not know each other.
Right.
Going on and having a war. 30 comments in, I'm like, oh shit, this is going to be a big post. That's how you know.
You're just like, how can I make money off of it?
Yeah, right. You just know. You're like, oh yeah, people are gonna, go. That post is still going right now. It's still going. I mean, bringing me no money, but it's still going.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, everyone has something to say. It's like, I guess you gotta be, you got to put yourself out there. And if you're not being hated on, you're really not making noise. So what are you doing?
That's true. Not having an opinion is almost like a surefire way to just fall into the background in a lot of ways.
And I think like too, I don't know. I think that you end up relate. Some people can relate, you know?
Yeah.
Some people can relate. Some people were loving it. Some people, you know, maybe they are single moms and they're like, cool, like that's exactly how I act. So
yeah. Well, your name is kind of a play on flipping the stereotypes that people would want to throw on you in a negative way and being like, hey, this is
I've
who
always
I
been
am,
like that.
I'm happy. Like,
I'm like one of those, like, they ain't gonna P. Diddy my ass. Y'all are gonna know about everything before it comes out. You know,
there will be no
my mom
secrets.
works at McDonald's. You're not gonna be like, oh, that bitch mama work at McDonald's. Yes, she does.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes, I was a hot mess.
Yeah.
Yes, I drank. Yes, I did this. Yes, I did drugs. Like, I tell all my shit because it's not gonna come back to me.
Right.
I'm not getting P. Diddy.
There's nothing to say.
No,
There's no ands.
Y'all are gonna find out later.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope not. There might be some more out there, but
no. Thankfully, I think when you and I were growing up, there wasn't social media and there wasn't a lot of videos. So the dumb things that could have been caught on camera were not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's the real.
So yeah. So you are gonna take a break, hopefully, after you give birth from teaching and whatnot.
Yeah, I think just a month. I'm gonna take a month.
And just, that's it.
That's it. I'm gonna take a month.
As long as the doctor allows you to take.
Yeah, I'll just wear a diaper. I don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, who gonna pay my bills? That's the one thing about social media. I don't got paid time leave.
That's true. That's true. So you gotta get
corporate jobs. Like, we still need people to go out and be doctors. Y'all all can't be influencers.
It's funny because that's what a lot of people, at least of what I'm talking to, like, you know, teenagers, young, that's what they want to do.
They want to be influencers. You're not getting paid time off, girlfriend.
Yeah.
You're not getting 3 months.
It's also a lot of work.
You're not getting paternity leave, like, for your husband. Some of these companies give 6 months.
And you got to pay your own taxes after.
I got to pay my own tax. I had a meeting right before this with my tax person.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I mean,
surprisingly,
I'm in a good mood, but.
Do you do quarterly taxes or annual?
No, I can't do that. I still haven't mastered the money.
What would you say is a good piece of, like, business advice for people who are working for themselves?
I don't even know. Get a good accountant. Get a good accountant.
If you're not good at the numbers, find somebody to do the numbers.
I mean, obviously investments. You want investments.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing that I need to work on this year is making
like
money from my money. Yeah.
Like passive.
And then, passive income or, you know, good health care, all kinds of things. You know, I had to switch my health care this year because I wanted to make sure that my labor was actually covered in the health care that I was paying. Because, you know, when you're not thinking about that, maybe you pay like the least amount.
Yeah.
You know, you don't do like all the good stuff.
How's that process been with insurance and pregnancy?
Just like long. It's just long phone conversations.
Yeah.
Time. Research. And a lot of people don't have it, or we do have it, but nobody wants to do it.
Right.
You know, it's adulting.
Do you have to advocate for yourself a lot?
I just ask a lot of questions, but a lot of times you don't get the right answers. You don't, you know, nobody knows.
Right.
We're all talking to robots nowadays.
Right.
No robot can tell you, like, even when I speak, I called, who did I call? I had to cancel my credit cards when my car got broken into. But people are just so trained to be robots. You know, like they answer one question and then they're like, but wait, give me your social security number again. Let me check that you're the person you're supposed to be 7 times. Yeah. And then you ask them a question and it's like a robot responds back. And it's like, no, actually, I'm trying to ask you. Like, I don't know if you ever experienced that, but I feel like a lot of times, like, we lose like the human.
I think that's a trend across the board in all industries.
Even in stores, like I can't return this because this isn't.
Right.
And like when I grew up, it was never like that. It's like the customer is always right. Yeah. And there's like kind of always a way that like people could talk and figure things out. But nowadays it's like sometimes you call or.
You're just going in circles.
You're talking to a robot.
Yeah.
It's like one script and they don't deviate. And I'm like.
Or they just don't know how to find the right answer or find the right person to give you
problem solve.
the right answer.
Maybe that's just me, but I've been experiencing that
I think
a lot.
it's a fair observation across the board.
Yeah. But everywhere I go, I'm talking to robots.
Well, not today.
Yeah. No, definitely not.
Not today.
Not today.
But yeah. So the name of the podcast is I Wish Someone Would Have Told Me.
Yay.
So for you, what is something that you wish someone would have told you earlier in life? Like maybe when you were in your 20s and
in my 20s. I mean, I just think that like everything, you go through everything for a purpose, for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. Don't be so hard on yourself. You know, like you have to go through everything that you go through to get to where you are now. I mean, beauty is wasted on the young, my friend. I don't know. My 20s, I was a wreck. But like, that's like your best time of your life, you know?
Right.
And I was just so lost personally. I don't know about you, but I was so lost. So,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know what I wish somebody would have told me. Yeah, I wish somebody would have told me to like, no, you don't have to buy every single pair of Jordans that come out. Invest in Bitcoin.
You're like, I'm thinking long term.
Right. Like, I wish people would have told me that stuff. But I'm a really big believer in that I have to make all my mistakes. I have to make mistakes in order to learn.
That's your personality.
That's just how I am.
Gotcha.
I have to like touch it and to know it's hot.
Right.
I can't like, so I needed to go through everything I needed to. Now, did I actually really need to do all of the damage I did? Probably not. But, you know, I think it definitely made me who I am. So maybe just like to be a little bit like easier on myself, that it will get better. I wish people would have told me that, because I've had dark times too, you know?
Right.
So it'd be nice to know, like,
stay resilient.
this is gonna come out. You're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
They're not gonna make a Lifetime movie about you, but you're gonna be, you know, like as a kid, you're like looking in the mirror and you're like writing your like true story, Starr Hawkins.
Yes.
But they're not gonna have that. That's not gonna happen. But you're gonna be good.
Yeah. And then the last question is, what do you hope that your older self is telling you right now?
That I did everything that I ever wanted to do.
Nice. That's a good one. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And is there anything you want to drop in at the end? Anything?
Sure. Follow me on Instagram, on TikTok, Babymommafit.
Yes.
I have online workouts Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 12.
Yes.
I also do a lot of Miami events. So I teach pool Pilates, teach Barry's Boot Camp. I teach hot Pilates at Mimi. I just started a Pilates certification. We certified 32 girls.
Congratulations,
and 1 guy.
by the way.
Yeah. So, and that's available online as well. Just follow, support.
Yeah.
Don't leave any of those hate comments on my Twitter.
No. And don't be a hate commenter. Yeah. Resist the urge to always comment and say something.
Say only nice things.
Yeah.
Or just don't comment at all.
Yeah. $1 a day. $1 a day is all it costs. All right. Thank you, Starr. Appreciate it.